So with the pages we've read so far in chapter 6, can you think of any additional character traits you'd like to add for the characters that we've discussed so far today?
I think that's true.
What about for Khan?
Oh, I have one in my head. We talked about it earlier.
He's a liar.
He's selfish.
Yeah, cocky.
Yeah, he's selfish and cocky.
Yeah, that word, sometimes people are a little bit offended by it. How about disrespectful? Someone mentioned that later. Okay, so disrespectful. And did you have evidence from chapter 6 so far that illustrates his disrespect? What about his actions so far that would convey
He makes bad decisions.
he makes bad decisions, unwise maybe, maybe immature? What do you like better? Immature? Okay, I don't know if I have a lot of room. So, but what happened in chapter 6 that gives us this feeling of these characters? Think about the altercation between Charley and Khan.
They're different. The characters are different traits. That he's greedy, disrespectful, and he's.
But what happened that gives you these impressions? What event occurred that we could say that about? Okay, I'm only seeing a couple of ends though. Jacob, stay with me, buddy. What happened? What were they doing to Khan? And there was this communication between them. Connor, you don't remember what happened and Khan yelled something? All right, Ryan, what do you think?
Khan said that he won what's it called, Charlie's Staghorn knife and
You rewound a couple chapters. I want you just to think about only the few pages I've read in chapter 6 so far. Okay, so you were right, but it's just you went too far back.
I guess you could say he sort of got like arrested, and then they had to like they tied his fingers and hands together, and they're gonna keep him like that until he learns a lesson.
They're teaching him a lesson.
He yelled.
On his tippy
and then
toes,
he
yeah.
yelled to Gorman
He yelled
and Charlie.
like Charlie.
Yes,
something.
they yelled. He yelled at Charlie.
He yelled like-
And Charlie's just a little boy. I mean,
He doesn't
okay,
know
he's a
any
kid.
better.
Yeah.
Well, and he hasn't even done anything. And here Khan is an adult yelling like he's a kid, right? I mean, that shows right there such disrespect and I think immaturity. And why is he being punished? What did he do?
Cuss at an
He
officer.
cussed. So could we say also a character trait for Khan is impulsive?
Yeah, because they call
He doesn't think through his decisions. And rude. Good, Meg. So impulsive and rude. We can add all of these just by those actions.
Over Khan, it said, I bet he cussed out an officer or stole something. Let's watch it.
I love how Abba went back and found the evidence in the text. Very good. So if that was the question, that would be a great example.
Khan called Charlie like a gutter snipe.
Yeah, gutter
Yeah,
snipe.
sniper.
Yeah. Mason, what else?
It says, as two drummer boys passed in their wagon, Sylvia spied Charlie at the top of the lawn. He yelled, "I see you, Charlie Quinn. Look here, fella. He dirty, long, gutter snipe."
Yep, you went back and you got the evidence to support
And that
these
other
character
thing-
traits. So we don't have any yet for Jim. Charlie, so far we have these. Do you have anything you would like to add? Abba.
This is kind of from chapter 5.
We want to stay in chapter 6, okay? Just chapter 6. Does anyone have any more to add before I continue reading? Gianna?
Enlightened? Is that like a character?
Enlightened, that's a great word. Who would you say is enlightened?
Charlie?
And how is he enlightened from chapter 6?
Like, doesn't that mean like happy? Like,
Enlightened means you now know something you didn't know before, so you see a broader picture of it.
okay, I was gonna say, Gorman is like being really nice to him, so like, because it said he was happy.
Okay. Lighthearted maybe is where you're going with that word.
Yeah.
Enlightened maybe would apply to his knowledge of Khan. He used to think Khan was this great guy. You know, he almost had him on superhero status. And now he's like, you're a dirty scoundrel. So he's enlightened about Khan's character traits.
Gorman's thoughtful.
And Gorman is thoughtful. And we've added some character traits from chapter 5 right here. And we'll add thoughtful in a little bit. Let's go ahead and finish reading chapter. If you have to, go ahead. If you miss this, you may want to listen to it later. Okay, sweetheart? Okay. Okay. And I'm at the bottom of page 68, boys and girls. Is everyone with me?
Yeah.
Tate, you okay? Or Blaze, you okay back there? All right. While Charley Quinn fretted at the delay. Fretted means...
Like angry.
Yeah,
So like scared, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're
Like
a little
nervous.
worried. You're kind of antsy.
Yeah, like you're worried.
Yeah, you're like you wanting to get things going, and you definitely have some trepidation. Is a good tie-in for fretted. Meade's great army waited, going about its daily routine until the first day of May came, and the white-flowered dogwood trees bloomed. We can all visualize that, right? Because of where we live. Don't we have this flower all around us? Is it our state flower?
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah. On the first day of the month, the whole encampment knew they would soon be on the march. On the second, when the march order was actually given, an Ohio regiment mutinied, refusing to go. And General Meade threatened that any other soldier who refused to do his duty would be shot without trial. Everyone, including Charley Quinn, knew that Meade and Grant intended to march out on the night of the 3rd, with cavalry heading out first to the south and then the east.
Wait, the 3rd of what?
The 3rd of what? What month, guys?
May.
May. See in the first paragraph of the bottom of page 68
So
of
it's
May.
the same month that we're in, but just a little bit, a couple days.
Everyone, including Charley Quinn, knew that Meade and Grant intended to march out on the night of the 3rd, with cavalry heading out first to the south and then to the east. Behind the cavalry would come the marching men, cannon, and supply trains. They would cross the Rapidan River, pass as swiftly as possible through the wilderness on its plank roads, and attack the rebels on Lee's right flank before a full-scale battle could begin. While they stood in the warm afternoon sunlight of the 3rd, after a dress parade, General Meade reviewed them on his horse, Baldy. So what's the horse's name? Baldy. Later, he sent a brief message to be read to all the troops. Charley remembered one sentence particularly well and thought of Johnny as he heard it. Bear with patience the hardships and sacrifices you will be called upon to endure. Keep your ranks on the battlefield. Oh yes, his brother had done these things. Later that day, Colonel Ayres of the 140th cried aloud to his assembled men from his horse, "We shall soon enough engage the enemy. Be cool, keep ranks, press forward, let the wounded lie where they are. Others will come for them. Aim low. Close steadily, then use your bayonets. Do not disgrace your state. If any man runs, I want those behind you to shoot them. If they don't, I will." As he heard these words, a thrill of pride in the 140th went through Charley Quinn's soul. A priest had come the night before to his regiment, said Mass for those who were Catholic, and heard confessions. What's a priest again, boys and girls?
A preacher.
For which religion?
Catholic.
The Catholics. Charley, and of course a lot of the guys from New York were Catholic. Charley, his newly bestowed drum beside him, confessed his sin of running away from Noreen and received a penance of prayers. So we receive penance. We go to confession, Catholics do, we say, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. My last confession was," and then we tell the priest when our last confession is, and then he listens to us as we entrust him with all of our sins. And then that priest has been blessed with the ability to forgive our sins. And to forgive our sins, he tells us how many prayers to say, like 10 Hail Marys, 5 Our Fathers, 5 active contritions. And these are all the prayers that Catholics have memorized. And we leave the sanctuary where the priest spoke with us, and in private, and then we go and kneel in the church in the pews and we say our prayers. This is what I did all the time when I went to Catholic school as a kid. You know, we just kind of went on our own and said our prayers, depending on whatever sins that we had committed that week. And that's what they're doing. And it says that confessed his sin of running away from Noreen and received a penance. The penance are the prayers. He was also given a rosary of his very own. And that's another item Catholics use to help us with our praying and our prayers. And it's part of our faith. He also gave a rosary of his very own. The priest in New Yorker had known Johnny Quinn personally. He spoke highly to Charley of Johnny's courage. He went on to say that Charley could make his brother proud of him, even though Johnny was no longer living. How Charley wished he could write Noreen now that he was about to go into a fight. I'm on top page 70. She'd replied to his letter saying she was relieved to learn where he was and that she hoped he'd take care of himself and keep safe from the rebels. He hadn't replied to it yet. The order to move out came that night. At an hour's notice, several thousand men and a great mass of equipment were to be on their way out of Culpeper. Charley Quinn, drummer boy, the 140th Veteran Volunteers, among them. Just imagine what he's feeling, the excitement, the fear, the thrill. You know, that adrenaline that flows through you? It's probably just pumping big time. Silas knew the general's plan to pass through the wilderness in one day's hard marching and give battle later in open country. The army would leave in the night of May 3rd and 4th with the cavalry leaving the camp to act as scouts and skirmishers. If any Confederates or out scouting were caught, the cavalry would deal with them. After the cavalry, the bridge building engineers were to leave. Silas came to Charley late that night to warn. Charley, it's to be a long march, near to 30 miles, I hear. We got a river to cross, too. You'll be mighty tired at the end of all this walking. Charley boasted. Don't you worry about me. I can keep up. I may be tired, but I'll get there, too. Well, then I won't worry. I'll see you later. Silas flashed a grin in the fading light of the campfires and walked away, every inch the Union Army soldier. Not long afterward, as the 140th stood ready and waiting, the order came from General Griffin to march out of camp to the Culpeper Road that led to Stevensburg.